One drug that everyone was suddenly obsessed with.
Ozempic.
Ozempic. Celebrities were using it, doctors were talking about it, the internet couldn't just stop debating it. And the two companies that make it, Novo Nordisk, got so valuable its valuation reached around $570 billion, briefly exceeding the entire GDP of Denmark, the country it's actually based in. And Eli Lilly quietly overtook Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson to become the most valuable pharma company on the planet, all from one drug, Ozempic. Now here's where it gets really interesting. March 20, 2026. That one date that changed everything. This is the day when key patents for this drug expired in India, and within weeks, the same drug that cost $1,000 a month in the US became available in India for 1,290 rupees. From 90,000 rupees to straight 1,290 rupees. That's a 70 times price difference. Same science, same molecule, but completely different price. And when something this powerful becomes this affordable in a country of 1.5 billion people, it doesn't just change healthcare. Consumer patterns shift, entire industries get quietly disrupted. And some businesses, many of which have nothing to do with pharma, start winning in ways most people never see coming. That's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. Hi, I'm Aparna, and in today's video, we are breaking down everything you need to know about this drug from an investor's perspective. We'll cover what it actually does inside your body, why suddenly a full-scale price war has started in India, and who the real winners are, including businesses that have nothing to do with pharma. We'll also look at what's already playing out in the US because that could be India's near future. And we'll be honest about the risks too because this is not a one-sided story. So by the end, you'll know whether this is relevant to you personally and exactly where the investment opportunity sits. Let's get right into it. First, let's quickly understand what even is this drug. So let me simplify it for you. Your body naturally produces a hormone called GLP-1 or glucagon-like peptide 1. Now it does two things. It helps control blood sugar and it tells your brain, okay, you're full, stop eating. The problem is this signal is short-lived. It fades quickly. On the other hand is semaglutide, a lab-made version of this same hormone. Now the key difference here is it keeps that you are full signal active for much longer. So you eat less, you feel full faster, and over time you lose weight. Originally, these drugs were developed to treat type 2 diabetes. They were meant to help control blood sugar. But doctors soon noticed something unexpected. Patients were losing significant weight. That discovery changed everything. And these drugs are now widely used for weight loss as well. This drug is sold under the brand name Ozempic by Novo Nordisk, the company we spoke about at the start. Think of it like paracetamol, that's the molecule, but Dolo and Crocin are just brand names for it. Same logic here. Semaglutide is the molecule, Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk is the brand name you keep hearing about. There is also Mounjaro from Eli Lilly, which works on two hormones simultaneously, GLP-1 and another one called GIP. So basically dual action, which makes it even more effective for weight loss. Now let's understand the investment story. In the US and Europe, patents on semaglutide remain protected until around 2032. Only Novo Nordisk can sell Ozempic there at roughly $1,000 per month. No competition, so high prices and absolutely tightly controlled. But in India, Canada, and China, those patents expired on March 20, 2026. The moment that happened, the Indian pharma industry did exactly what it always does. It moved fast. This is the classic Indian pharma playbook. The moment generics are allowed, competition doesn't wait, it rushes in. Prices don't just drop, they collapse. And the race shifts from margins to scale. Look at what happened within weeks. Natco Pharma, in partnership with Eris Life Sciences, launched semaglutide at just 1,290 rupees per vial. Glenmark at 1,300 rupees, Zydus Life Sciences at around 2,200 rupees, Sun Pharma around 3,600 to 8,000 rupees, Dr. Reddy's at 3,780 to 4,200 rupees, Lupin and Torrent at 4,000 to 4,500 rupees. Multiple Indian companies all launched within a short window, all aggressively priced. Compare that to Ozempic in the US, $1,000 per month, that's about 90,000 rupees. This is a full market reset. And even Novo Nordisk, the original maker, is adapting. They've partnered with Abbott in India to strengthen distribution and stay competitive as pressure builds. Lupin has partnered with Zydus. These partnerships are all about one thing: speed and scale. When India's pharma industry decides to move on a category, it moves completely. Now let's talk about why this matters beyond just the price cut. Obesity and metabolic issues are rising fast in India, especially in urban areas. The problem was always there, but cost acted as a barrier. That barrier is now breaking. But adoption won't happen overnight. There's a mindset shift needed. In India, weight loss is still seen as something you do through diet and exercise, not medicine. Doctors will need to build confidence with patients. Patients will need to understand how to use it. And even at lower prices, affordability is still a real consideration for many. So demand will build gradually. But here's the thing about gradual demand in a large country with a massive unmet need. It still adds up to something very big. So where should investors be looking? We've already spoken about the pharma companies at play, but forget for a second which pharma company wins the semaglutide price war. That's genuinely hard to predict because margins will be thin, competition is fierce, and the winner isn't obvious. The smarter question here is who benefits regardless of who wins? Let's look at that. First is delivery systems. Every single dose of semaglutide needs a reliable injection mechanism. So as volumes scale across multiple companies, the demand for precision medical components goes up across the board. Companies like Shelly Engineering, which manufactures precision medical components, quietly become key enablers of this entire category. It doesn't matter which pharma company's drug they are packaging, volume goes up, their business goes up. Second is diagnostics. This is not a one-time treatment. Semaglutide requires regular monitoring, blood sugar levels, metabolic markers, follow-up consultations. So every patient on this drug generates ongoing demand for diagnostic services. That's a steady, recurring business for chains like Dr. Lal PathLabs, Metropolis Healthcare, and ThyroCare. And as adoption scales, this diagnostic tail grows with it. Third, and this is unique, the government has banned direct advertising of drugs like semaglutide. So companies cannot market it the way you'd market a consumer product, which means this market will be built through prescriptions, doctor, network, and trust, not loud advertising. In India, that kind of quiet, doctor-led scale-up tends to be powerful and sticky. Once a doctor is comfortable prescribing something and patients see results, that behavior is hard to reverse. Now let me show you what happens when this drug goes mainstream, because the US is already living that future. Roughly 1 in 8 American adults is now using or has used a GLP-1 drug. And at that scale, real-world behavior starts changing visibly. People eat less, grocery spending drops around 5% within 6 months and over 8% for higher income households. The bigger impact is on high-calorie categories. Soft drinks down about 7%, coffee, energy drinks, juices down around 4%, fast food spending down close to 8%. This is not brand switching, this is a reset in how much people consume overall. Retail is feeling it as people lose weight, clothing sizes change. That creates inventory mismatches, putting billions of dollars of apparel at risk. Even airlines are seeing a small benefit. Lower passenger weight slightly reduces fuel costs. But here's the flip side, and this is important. Consumption isn't disappearing, it's just upgrading. People are choosing better calories, more protein, more nutrient-dense food, more functional nutrition. Smoothie King has introduced GLP-1 focused menus. Nestle Health Science has launched a dedicated GLP-1 nutrition platform. Companies are adapting. Fitness is picking up too. Gym memberships and structured fitness programs are seeing higher engagement as people focus on maintaining muscle alongside weight loss. And here's an angle most people haven't thought about. Insurance companies could quietly benefit too. As people become healthier, there is lower risk of chronic diseases, better weight management, life expectancy improves. That means more predictable, lower risk outcomes for insurance models. So the behavior shift is simple but powerful. Eat less, eat better, live more consciously. Now bring this to India. What we are seeing in the US is just the early version. In India, where the drug is now dramatically more affordable, if adoption scales, these behavior changes could be sharper and faster. Lower consumption, smarter eating, a stronger push toward fitness and wellness. What started as a pharma trend is beginning to influence the entire consumer economy. One of the biggest barriers to wider adoption is still the injection. Not everyone is comfortable with it. It can feel inconvenient, intimidating, and that's exactly why oral versions, especially pills, are getting so much attention. But there's a real challenge here. Oral GLP-1 drugs are less efficient than injectables because of something called bioavailability. Basically, how much of the drug actually reaches your bloodstream. To put it simply, around 14 mg orally may be needed to match the effect of just 1 mg injected. That's a significant gap, which is why injectables still dominate in effectiveness. Recently, Torrent Pharmaceuticals launched both oral and injectable semaglutide in India, with injectables starting at around 3,999 per month. That's a signal of improving access. If the oral bioavailability problem gets solved, it could be another major unlock. A pill fits far more naturally into daily life than an injection. And once effectiveness catches up, oral GLP-1 could significantly expand adoption and push this entire market further. Now let's move to the next section, and I have to talk about this because no serious video on this topic is complete without looking at the other side. The side effects are real too, and the conversation is evolving fast. Weight loss from semaglutide isn't just fat. A portion can come from muscle, which is critical for metabolism, strength, and long-term health. Losing too much muscle creates new risk if not managed properly. Then there are common side effects like nausea, digestive discomfort, which are widely reported, especially early on. In more serious cases, a condition called gastroparesis, where the stomach slows down significantly, has also been reported. The US FDA has issued safety alerts around mood-related risks, including reports of suicidal thoughts in some users. There are also visible changes from rapid weight loss, which are often referred to as Ozempic face, where facial appearance changes significantly. And now there is legal scrutiny building up. More than 3,300 lawsuits related to Ozempic and similar GLP-1 drugs have been consolidated in the US, largely around severe gastrointestinal issues and claims that risks weren't adequately communicated. There are also reports of rare vision-related complications, including cases of vision loss and a condition called NION, which are still being investigated. So this is no longer just a breakthrough story. Ozempic is becoming a more balanced discussion. Clear benefits on one side, real risks and unknowns on the other, which makes this a very personal decision, not a one-size-fits-all answer. So let's step back and look at the full picture. A drug that cost $1,000 a month in the US is now available in India for under 1,300 rupees. The companies making semaglutide in India will fight hard for market share. Margins will be thin. The winner isn't obvious. But the proxy plays, that's the businesses that benefit regardless of who wins, are clearer. India is still early, but early is exactly where investors want to be when they understand the direction of a trend. And that's where the real opportunity is, not just in the drug, but in everything around it. So here's the question I'll leave you with. Would you use it? Would you recommend it to someone close to you? Drop your answers in the comments. Genuinely curious to hear where you stand on this. If this gave you a new way to think about this entire space, like it, share it with someone who invests, and subscribe. See you in the next one.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.